Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review on Bill Burr's new comedy special, Paper Tiger. But before I do, don't forget to show some love by hitting that subscribe button and that like button as well. So Bill Burr released a new comedy special on Netflix, and for this special he did something a little bit different. He decided to shoot this video outside of the United States. He decided to shoot in London this time. And I thought that decision to do that was very interesting. Reason being because for him to shoot a comedy special in an area where he's not familiar with, I can only imagine that would put some extra pressure on him to perform well. So just knowing that off the bat made the special a little bit better, because that just gave me a whole new appreciation for him, a whole new appreciation just for the special in general. And that itself could definitely make it a little bit better. So for this comedy special, he talked on a lot of different topics that may ruffle some feathers. I will say this is my first full comedy special that I have done on Bill Burr, that I have seen of Bill Burr, but I've seen plenty of clips. So this is nothing new. He talks about race, he talks about the Me Too movement, and a lot of other things that may give him some backlash. I wouldn't be surprised if any of these jokes trend on Twitter in a negative way, bashing Bill Burr, people saying, why would you talk about this? You can't say this in 2019. That's what happened with Dave Chappelle recently. I don't think that happened with Gary Owen, but I wouldn't be surprised it happened to him as well. But nonetheless, not Gary Owen, Bill Burr still went and talked about these topics, and those are my favorite comedians, the ones that are not afraid to ruffle those feathers. I believe we need comics like that in 2019. So to begin the special, he did talk about women a lot in the first 15-20 minutes. He pretty much talked about the Me Too movement. And I will say, just for those first 15-20 minutes, I wasn't too invested. And the reason being because a lot of the clips that I've seen of Bill Burr before, he talked about women a lot. So this is just me. Like, it kind of felt like I was watching a rerun. So I wasn't too invested in those first 15-20 minutes. But afterwards, the special got a whole lot better. But in the beginning, in those jokes, the jokes were funny. I was laughing. Probably my favorite joke is he was talking about Michelle Obama. I don't necessarily agree with this, but he said, like, being the first lady is not a real job. The way that he said it made me laugh out loud. It was hilarious the way that he did it. And I will say, like, when he talks about these things, if he talks about a topic that I may necessarily not agree with, you could tell that he's still joking. It's his opinion and he's making a joke. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays can't really understand that, can't really have that understanding. If you don't agree with it, that's fine, but he's still joking. And that reminds me, he was talking about Stephen Hawking. Me personally, I didn't really like how he came across in the beginning of the Stephen Hawking joke. Just the way he did it seemed kind of cold, and personally, I'm just like, damn. But I know that he's joking. When he talked about how he was very negative and stuff like that, one of the jokes he was saying, what do you think about apples or something? We're not going to have apples next 20 years or something like that. That joke was funny, but knowing that the way that he started off the joke, it was like, I kind of cringed my teeth. And that's what made the joke not too funny for me. But I still know that he's joking, and I'm not going to go on Twitter or anything like that bashing Bill Burr, going, you can't say this, you can't say that, why would you be like that? So as a viewer, I understand where his jokes are coming from. But his transitions from one joke to another, I would say is almost flawless. how he would talk about one topic and then make it flow into the next one. And he kind of made everything tie in together, because one of the themes of his comedy special was his temper. He talked about how in his relationship, which he was talking about his family, which I always appreciate when a comedian talks about their family, give you some insight on them. But when he talked about his temper, he talked about how him and his wife, the one thing that they need to work on in a relationship is him. And when he said that, I was just cracking up. It was just the way that he said it. And it's because of his temper, pretty much. He said that everything else, he lays it down. Like, he's really good at it. Like, he'll take out the trash. He'll do, like, all these other different things. But it's just his temper. And his temper kind of tied into almost the entire comedy special. Because towards the end of the comedy special, he talked about how he had to give his dog away. And this was probably my favorite part of the special, because giving your dog away, that has to hurt. And yet that he's still bringing light to it, like comedians talking through pain, sort of. And how he was talking about his wife had all the right emotions, that she'll brush her teeth at night crying, and he would just get mad at her. And I'm thinking to myself, in that moment, how can you be mad at your wife for crying because you're giving away a dog? And he explained it. He talked about how he talked about pretty much his childhood too, about not having a good Christmas with his family. I just like how he tied it in together. So he said that his wife had all the right emotions and he didn't. And when it was time for him to give away his dog, he couldn't even look at his dog in the eye, and then he broke down for a quick second, then just jarred down all those emotions. And he essentially said he feels bad for the person that's going to have to deal with those emotions at one point. He didn't say it like that, but just paraphrasing pretty much what he said. But that was probably my favorite part of the special. And another one of my favorite parts of the special is when he was talking about pretty much how robots may take over the world, essentially. How somebody was interviewing a robot, and he says, "What is your vision of the future?" or something like that I'm paraphrasing. He said, "To be smarter than humans." And he's like, no, unplug this thing. Have you seen enough sci-fi movies to know what's going on, what's going to happen? So I liked how he did that. His jokes, he wasn't very animated, but he was animated enough for you to really envision these jokes. Especially that one and the joke about his dog, in my opinion. So he really did that very well. And I must say, he really interacted with the crowd very, very well. He talked about a lot of things that are, I don't want to say affecting the U.S., but he was talking about how you can't really tell a joke in the USA anymore, in the States. And when he was saying these jokes, I was kind of thinking in my mind, would they really understand this, considering he's doing a special that's not in the United States? But they seem to really get it. Or at the very least, he was able to paint a picture for them so they would understand it. For all I know, it could be the same things about telling jokes that are happening in the United States can be in other countries that I don't know, but he was still able to really interact with the crowd very, very well. And that's something that I've noticed. That's something I probably wouldn't have noticed 10 years ago if I was watching this special. So the way Bill Burr did his jokes, the way he interacted with the crowd, the way that he would talk on certain topics, this was a really well done special. And overall, I would give it a 8.5 rating. I probably would have given it a 9 if it wasn't for those first 20 minutes, because like I said, it kind of felt like a rerun for me. But overall, it's still a good special, a comedy special that I would watch again. So how did you guys feel about the comedy special? How would you guys rate it? Did you rate it an 8.5 like myself? Did you rate it higher? Did you rate it lower? If you've seen all of his specials, was this your favorite one? Let me know in the comment section below. And have a wonderful day.